I'm Ann Kroeker.
And I'm Singleton Craig.
And together we are Kroeker Craig, co-authors of the book On Being a Writer. This is Chapter 8, Discover. When I write, I find myself. This chapter is exploring how writing can be an avenue for self-discovery and beginning to understand ourselves better personally. And so in my section, I go all the way back to childhood because that's when I began writing and when I began to really dig deep into the deeper places of my soul and put that down and express it on paper. And when I could get it down and look at it, I could begin to look at myself with greater insight. And that habit has continued, whether through journaling or even through projects that I write for publication. It helps me sort out who I am and the evolving self that I am over the years. And so that's what we are encouraging writers to do in this chapter, is take the time to write in a way that you discover more about yourself. And the discussion questions are pretty personal. So in your writing group, you have to decide how much you're going to share amongst yourselves. And so I thought with Charity here we could start with the first question and see how that goes and model that together. So the question for you, Charity, is what have you learned about yourself through writing recently or in the past?
Well, I would first like to say that not all of my writing leads to self-discovery, and I think that that is probably true for many people who write. If you are a memoirist or if you're doing a lot of personal writing or even fiction, you may find your life gurgling up or bubbling up into your work. But I also do quite a lot of writing for clients, and I'm writing about healthcare and that kind of thing, so I'm not finding a ton about myself in those.
Good point.
But on the other hand, even some of my writing for hire or the kind of writing that I submit or send out for magazines and whatnot does often lead to personal discovery. In fact, recently I wrote an essay that was about my family moving. I mentioned that earlier on in one of our videos, and about some of the difficulties that I encountered in the move. Well, the editor pushed back a little on the essay, saying that it definitely told a story, but he described it, the editor described it as sort of a rodent popping up out of a hole and looking around a little bit. And so asking me, I don't think he was calling me a rat, but asking me to come up out of the story a bit and take a look around. And in the process of doing that, I discovered some work by another author that gave me great insight into what it was I was really trying to say. So by pulling in a few quotes from another essay into my own, and then kind of rebuilding my work around those 2 or 3 key ideas from her, I discovered something brand new about that experience of moving and about myself that I would never have otherwise discovered had I not only written about it, but allowed an editor to push back and then to write more deeply about it later.
And pull in somebody else's
Absolutely.
That's really good. Thanks for sharing that. And so we hope as a writing group you enjoy exploring this a little bit more and what it means to discover through your writing. So we'll see you in Chapter 9, Engaged.